Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for the obligatory Cracker Barrel video.
Yes. Every day, new video.
Every day. I mean, it's so wild how this thing has blown up. And it is part of a bigger discussion. We'll bring up some of the other restaurants affected by the corporatization, the sterilization of brand identity. But here we have the co-founder of Cracker Barrel, who's 93 years old, sitting down with local news in Tennessee and basically saying, yeah, the rebrand, it was a bad idea. It was never going to work. This isn't Cracker Barrel. I don't like it.
And they asked, do you think that the CEO knows who he is? And he's like, no. He's like, probably not.
Probably not. And he's, kind of trash talking Taco Bell too, because, the CEO, that Julie Fells Messino, whatever her name is, came from Taco Bell. And we'll talk about that because Taco Bell is another restaurant that has been altered to be more corporate. And we talked about it in the last video where, Taco Bell's menu has changed. Their identity has changed. It seems like they're chasing the California Karens instead of the broke-ass college kids. It's like you can't really pivot a restaurant that hard and still have it maintain its integrity and have it maintain, its identity as that particular restaurant anymore. So we'll talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
You will also get an additional woohoo if you go out to Kickstarter and check out Geeky Sparkles Glow and Ghouls Retro Halloween Enamel Pins. She's doing really good too. 12 days ago. It was only a 2-week campaign because we got to flip these pretty quick to get them out in time for Halloween, and we're going to ship them in tandem with the orc pins. But yeah, she's doing really, really good. We hit 10,000. We're going to offer an add-on. I think we're going to offer the Geeky pin as an add-on. And I think we're going to get there. I mean, 2 days in and you're at like 6,500. So that's pretty good. For pins, that's pretty good. So thank you for the support. For those of you who don't know, they're glow-in-the-dark Halloween pins designed by Geeky Sparkles herself. And they're retro and they're really fun. And a lot of people seem to like them. So,
yay, because retro is awesome.
Retro is awesome. So let's talk about
We're going to talk about retro in regard to restaurants here soon too. So
yeah, so the co-founder, who again is, in his 90s.
93.
93. He's slamming the rebrand fail as pitiful, and he urges the chain to keep it country. And, it's not the same restaurant. I mean, I get it when you don't have the founders involved anymore that things tend to change. But again, Cracker Barrel is so damn sterile now. This rebrand is so sterile. It looks like a Denny's. It looks like a Perkins.
So basically, it looks like any other restaurant that looks sterile now.
That's what he said. We'll go out and see a video clip, and I gotta give a hat tip to Jaggins Junk, who sent the original video clip over. We're not gonna run the whole news interview, but we got pieces of it here. But Fox Business has it. They say Cracker Barrel's logo rebranding fiasco has ignited nationwide backlash, and now one of the chain's original founders is speaking out. At 93 years old, Tommy Lowe told WTVF News Channel 5 in Nashville that the company's leadership is steering the brand off course. In the interview, he said the $700 million rebrand was just throwing money out on the street. Oh, that's crazy. That's bland nothing. He's looking at the logo. He called the new logo pitiful. Wow.
And meanwhile, what's funny to me, you don't have to pull up the articles or not, but like the Atlantic and other places are still doubling down on it. It's not the logo. It's because of the alt-right. And it's like,
no.
Would you please, I'm going to take a moment. Media, shut the hell up. You're full of shit. Everybody hated it. No matter how much you try to keep saying it over and over again, that's only, alt-right Yahtzees that hate it. You look stupid. You've already lost. It's already come out that several people on the left have put it in their accounts too. It's across the board. People are united in hating this. No matter how much you try to make this an anti-Republican talking point, it's not going to stick. You look stupid, and this is why people don't trust you. So, a piece of advice: stop. Atlantic, stop.
Yeah, they really do need to. They really do need to stop. So let's take a look here. I think we can take a look at his clip. They clipped some of the best parts of it, but this guy, I mean, he seems pretty sharp for 93. And he's like, yeah, this was never going to work.
Keeping the country, then it ain't going to work. And it took forever to find 10 guys to put up $10,000.
So back then, Cracker Barrel wasn't a sure bet.
Oh, it wasn't a bet at all. On September the 19th, 1969, I went out, that was Monday morning, I went out and unlocked the door. And the people just came in.
Now, when you saw this logo rolled out the other day,
Oh, that's crazy. That's nothing, it's a bland nothing. It's pitiful. They're trying to modernize to be more like the competition. Cracker Barrel doesn't have any competition. I heard she was a Taco Bell, but what's Taco Bell know about a Cracker Barrel?
Apparently nothing.
And country food. And the food is something that they need to work on.
Food's what they need to work on. Yeah, I mean that's pretty damning when you've got one of the co-founders coming out and being like, this is some horse shit. You know, this is pitiful.
Well, I basically said the logo is a bland nothing. They're trying to look like everybody else, which was dumb because they aren't like everybody else. And then the food, they need to give their food work because lately the food sucks. That's basically what he is saying.
Yeah. So let's talk about these restaurants, and this keeps coming up again and again and again about just how sterile and bland modern restaurants are compared to what they used to be. And there's a theory on this. I saw a video on Twitter, and the guy who did the video was blaming corporatism. He wasn't blaming wokeism or whatever. He basically said that it's easier to sell a bland nothing square building if that franchise goes out of business.
Yeah, which that's what I think it's about. It's because it's when you see a lot of Pizza Huts over the old building, they were very distinctive.
Yeah.
The old buildings, you could tell it was a Pizza Hut. And so when you see them now in their bank or someone's house, you get to laugh and be like, oh, it was a Pizza Hut because it was distinctive. It's kind of like that thing when you do animation or art and you have characters and they tell you to put the silhouette of the character as the character recognizable by the silhouette. Pizza Hut was incredibly recognizable by the silhouette.
Yeah.
And, and they destroyed that to make it a boxy nothing that you can't determine it from, a Starbucks or a new Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean, same with the Taco Bells. The old Taco Bells had the adobe roof. Cracker Barrel has a big ass front porch. But yeah, you take a new Taco Bell or take a new McDonald's, and you could turn it into a Starbucks. You could turn it into a Verizon store. Mm-hmm. And that is what this one guy. I mean, it's one guy's theory. It might be true. There might be a kernel of truth to that.
It makes sense, actually.
Yeah, it's easier since they're real estate developers first. Most of these franchises, kind of like McDonald's, they own the land or whatever. But he was trying to say that the reason they're doing that is if it goes out of business, they can sell the building pretty damn easily because it could become anything.
But they've also destroyed brand identity because of it.
Maybe the reason it's going out of business is because it doesn't have the flavor, no pun intended. Well, I mean, both figuratively and literally, it doesn't have the flavor that it did before. So why go to another sterile fast food restaurant? You know what I'm saying? Like, people went to McDonald's because they wanted not that McDonald's was high class or anything, but they wanted the McDonald's experience. You wanted to go in there. They had the playland.
They had the playland. They used it they had that creepy ass tree in the middle of it.
Someone creepy ass tree from McDonaldland. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had like the McDonald's characters and we talked in another episode about the Burger King and how the one in Punxsutawney is still like one of the 90s Burger Kings.
Yeah.
And how apparently that's a draw to people. Is if you could find an old old restaurant that's still similar to what it was. People are going to Pizza Hut's embracing it, and they're making these retro Pizza Huts now, and everybody wants those. They want those back. They want the glasses. They want the building. They want the lights. They want the arcade machine. They want that back. Book it. They want book it back. I love this.
Yeah, this is really cool. The Tiffany lamps, I remember.
No, read the comment.
Oh. Okay, now we cyberbully Pizza Hut until they bring back the buffet and the red cups. Yeah,
well, some they have the buffets back, and some.
Yeah, some of them are. But they're getting there. I think they're starting to realize because the creepy ass tree. They're bringing back McDonald Land, which I think is really awesome. I mean, they're kind of rolling it out in waves, but I don't think we're ever going to see the Playland, and I'll tell you why. I think it's a liability for them because if a kid gets hurt. It's like, do you know?
Yeah, I thought that too. I was when I was writing this article, I thought that's probably a big part of it because it was probably really expensive for the insurance on that, and I'm sure they got sued several times, which is part of why they changed it. But even then, the building though and everything else, they've made it look like a box.
Yeah, and what they should do here again, unsolicited ideas that I should be paid for. What you do with your McDonald's is you have a detachable roof facade, or same with a Pizza Hut, and it can easily be removed and leave the square building underneath it. So if it's no longer a McDonald's or a Pizza Hut, you just detach it, and then whoever buys it can.
Yeah, that sounds great until like a storm comes and it rips it off or something, and they're probably afraid of getting sued.
A kid's
for that.
hanging on to it, and there's
let's make it a box with very little on the outside, so no one gets sued.
Yeah, that probably is part of it. I mean, it's probably cheaper to build, cheaper to clean. I mean, but yeah, the playlands, and this is my understanding. This has something to do with Chuck E. Cheese's, like they're trying to pivot to adult arcades now. And part of the reason for that is because it's such a damn liability to have the play areas and the insurance on that. And we've talked about it before. We actually have a retro arcade, or winding down a retro arcade. And there's certain things that you can do and can't do, and anything that involves like physical activity, your insurance skyrockets. So if even like VR or anything like that, bouncy castle stuff or any of that kind of crazy shit, your insurance costs are
more
sky
risk
high.
Of injury equals higher insurance rates.
Darts,
obviously.
darts, for God's sake. You have darts, somebody could lose an eye. So it's like all that stuff goes up. So that probably has a lot to do with it. But it sucks because nothing has a flavor anymore. Like man, the old Taco Bells were bad shit. Looks like a theme park. I've actually never seen one. I've never seen one of those.
I've never seen one of those either. I do remember the other iterations, but I don't remember that one.
This is the closest I've seen. Like when I was in California in the 80s, 90s, the second Taco Bell.
Yeah, the third one was in the 90s. Yeah, I think
that's what they all look like in the 90s.
Yeah, that's the one that most people recognize because that's when they spread out more. And then this is like one of the newer ones.
Looks like a bank.
A lot of them aren't that bad, but that's example. That's one of the extreme examples of the newer ones. But it was interesting. Somebody else covered about how their prices have gone up. So you can't really blame the building redesign from Taco Bell on the CEO of Cracker Barrel. I looked. However, while they were there, while they were in charge, their prices did increase exponentially. Like we're talking up to 100 and some % price hike between 2019 and 2025.
Oh, Taco Bell is crazy expensive now. I remember, we talked about the other day, like you go to Taco Bell, you get a whole meal under $5, you can eat like a king. And now you're lucky if you can find a burrito for under $5. It's crazy. And it happens so fast. It's like McDonald's brought the snack wraps back. And I remember they used to be, before the pandemic, our one McDonald's still had them, like right before the pandemic. And I think they were 2 for $3.
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't much.
Because they were snack wraps. They have full-size wraps, too, at one point.
Now, it is fair to point out that inflation has been severe since 2019 and 2025.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So, some of that, the ingredient costs and stuff play into it, I am sure.
Tariffs!
That being said, I think that they're also like, we can use this as an excuse, like tariffs, to keep raising prices.
No, that's
even
exactly
if
what
it
I think
doesn't
it is.
impact us in that regard. And so people are not able to afford it. So in comes the new Taco Bell Y2K menu, where they're bringing back some of the retired items on the menu and they're trying to keep the price points low.
Yeah.
And McDonald's and that are doing this too. They are all trying to appeal to that nostalgia. Their buildings look like a generic box, but now they're like, remember when we were fun? Remember when we were affordable? Come back.
Yeah, and that's what's going on, because a lot of these fast food restaurants especially are going under, because it used to be cheaper in a lot of ways to just go out to eat, to go grab, value menu for McDonald's or, Taco Bell or whatever. And now going to a Taco Bell or a Wendy's, especially Wendy's got really expensive. Mm-hmm. Going to a Taco Bell or Wendy's is like, it's like going to a sit-down restaurant. It's like you could go to Applebee's for the cost of Wendy's at this point.
Yeah,
you're going to get better
meals. Yeah. But it basically is, you're getting a drink, you're getting a side, and you're getting the main dish, and you're paying like $12, And I'm sure in the cities it's way worse.
Oh yeah.
In some of the more the places like California, New York type situation. It's insane. But what they're trying to do is all these restaurants are trying to walk it back. They changed everything, stripped out all the personality and the brand identity and everything from their restaurants and their offerings, and now they're all doubling down on nostalgia to try to get people to come back in. Because as we've discussed in other videos at length, people like in our generation, like Gen X people, and are into nostalgia, and these Gen Z kids really, really, really want to have been part of the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
So they want malls back, and they want, they want that interaction again. They look up videos about what the stuff used to look like because they want it so bad. That's why they even admitted with the McDonald's land, they're trying to go after Gen Z kids. And well, I guess some of them are adults, but you know what I'm saying.
But it's weird because I'm watching this and there's a couple things going on here. One, it's almost like a fuzzy memory of what McDonald Land actually was. And it's like a fever dream too, because they took like all the air, because I'm a huge McDonald's fan. Like I have McDonald Land shit. You buy me McDonald Land shit. I love McDonald Land shit. But they took like all the errors of McDonald Land, kind of put it in a blender, but then they've got these like fruity Gen Z shakes and stuff they're coming out with. None of that was a thing.
No. But cotton candy is one of the big popular flavors with Gen Z. So that's why it tastes like basically a cotton candy and stuff like that, even though a lot of the older people will be like, but they love it for whatever reason. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to cash in on nostalgia, and they're trying to win back. They're trying to win this new audience who wishes that they were here during the 80s and 90s. Hell, I wish we were still back in the 80s and 90s, but we wouldn't be on here then if we were.
We'd be happier.
Yeah, there'd be more originality. There'd be more originality. But so this is all ties into Cracker Barrel, except Cracker Barrel was just really late to the game. And where some of these things like fast food restaurants or whatever, you can understand why they've changed it. It was a little weird, but you can kind of get it. Yeah. Cracker Barrel was like the last one you'd expect to. Because that's like, their whole identity is the nostalgia. And then they tried to change it, and people hate it. And it's not just the Republicans. Atlantic looking at you today. CNN looking at you from the other day.
Yeah.
And one of the founders is calling it out. He's like, this is bad.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. He's 93 and he's like, yeah, this is not what I made. I wish more founders would call. I think he's old enough to not care, obviously.
Well, a lot of them are dead. So,
yeah, a lot of them are dead, but they also make
honest.
A lot of times, like when they sell their babies, they're not allowed to make disparaging comments. But I mean, look at George Lucas with Star Wars, and look at I love it when the founders come out and they're like, yeah, this isn't my thing anymore. Like, you bastardized my thing. Like, what the hell is going on? But then I'm also like, you sold it. So
that's true. But it's just, but this kind of, the problem is when they get sold to corporate and things are very corporate, the corporate people are not creative people normally. There are exceptions, but most of them, modern day corporate people, because originally, like, the people that had these things that started them and went corporate were clever and smart and could think outside the box. Now they just crank them out of school. They're just like, they are in a box of their own making, and they want everything else to be a box too, because it makes that, because it's cheaper, it's easier to control, it's easier to flip, and it makes them feel better about themselves. Look, we did something. But everything looks like, a metropolitan coffee shop, a Starbucks, then nothing has personality anymore. What incentive is there for people to go there?
Yeah,
it's just like, it's like what they call it Coke down south. Everything's Coke. It's like, I want 7-Up Coke. I want Dr. Pepper Coke. I want McDonald's Coke. I want Pizza Hut Coke. I want, you know what I mean? It's all.
They all want new Coke. Nobody wants new
McDonald's
Coke.
Sprite slaps. I'm just saying, they all want to be, just a version of Coke instead of just, break it out and be in something completely different.
I'm just thinking now.
Be the Slurpee, people.
Be the Slurpee. Don't be the Coke. I'm just sitting there thinking that the tree, like, use modern technology and make it AI.
Make it talk. Yeah,
make it like AI interactive. Like, what you got there, a hamburger?
I mean, honestly, this stuff was nightmare fuel when we were kids. Back in the day, you sucked it up. Like, Care Bears fought Satan. My Little Pony fought Satan. You had, Secret of Nim. You had
Satan
Dark Crystal.
Satan.
It's like, if you survived the 80s without needing a little bit of therapy, you were doing great, because the 80s was just bat shit, and you just had to suck it up and deal with it. And now it's like, the tree looked at me, Ronnie, and I need therapy. Sue McDonald's.
The tree is undressing me with its eyes. Some people pay good money for that, though. Are we going to wrap this up?
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Again, check out Geeky's pins over on Kickstarter. Geeky Sparkles, Glow and Ghouls pins. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.